Hello and welcome to biology class. We are studying topic kingdom Animalia, and in this topic basically we are studying classification of kingdom Animalia. So animals are classified in different phylums, and few videos back we have started studying each phylum in details. Now so far we have studied 4 different phylums in details. So we have studied about Porifera, which is the first phylum, and very primitive animals are included in Porifera. Then we studied about Ctenophora, then we studied about Nidaria, then we studied about Platyhelminthes. Likewise, different animal phylums we have studied. So we will take few examples, and by taking those examples, we will try to understand characteristic of that phylum. Now, today we are going to study the next phylum of the series, that is Phylum Aschehelminthes, which is also called as Phylum Nemathelminthes. Now, very interesting animals are included in this phylum, so let us try to understand them in details. So let us start with some familiar examples, and then we will go in details and different examples. So the most familiar example of Nemathelminthes is nothing but Ascaris. Now, how we are little bit familiar with Ascariasis, because Ascaris is a disease-causing worm. Okay, disease-causing Nemathelminthes, and it is responsible for disease called as Ascariasis. Now, Ascariasis is very common digestive infection. We will talk more about it. So let us consider another example of Nemathelminthes. This example is nothing but Rhabditis. By taking these 2 examples, let us try to understand some characteristic of Aschehelminthes, and then we'll shift to the next example and some more characteristics. So, when we consider this Ascaris and Nemathelminthes in general, with the help of Ascariasis, we will try to understand the characteristic of Aschehelminthes or Nemathelminthes. Nemathelminthes is very common name of these animals. Now, when we consider these animals, in normal English we call them as a roundworms. Normal English we call them as a roundworms. Now, when we consider roundworm, round means their shape is round, that's why they are roundworm. But why they are Nemathelminthes? Now, nemat means thread. Nemat means what? Thread. So these animals are basically thread-like, and helminth means last phylum we studied it. What does it mean by helminth? Worm. So these are thread-like worm, round worm. That's why called as Nemathelminthes. Now let us try to understand some more things about it. Now, when we consider these animals of nematoda, animals are generally called as nematoda. When we consider this roundworm, when we consider these nematodes, now these are basically very small worms. Okay, very small worms. They usually they are few micrometer in length, very small. This Rhabditis, for example, is very small. Okay, some micrometer, some mm, like 2 to 3 mm in length. Okay, so very small. So basically this is one thing, they are very small. On the other hand, Ascaris is one example which grow up to few centimeters. So few of them grow till the few centimeters, but most of them are very small animals. Then the next one is that they are mostly parasitic. Very few of them are free living, but most of them are parasitic, and they are known to cause very dangerous diseases in human beings, as well as very dangerous diseases in plants as well as in animals. So they are parasitic and disease causing. Okay, so they are responsible for many diseases, disease causing. Okay, now next thing, so these are some general characteristics of them. Let us shift to little bit scientific characteristics. Now, scientific characteristic, when we consider, they are bilaterally symmetrical. They are what? Bilaterally symmetrical. So the first characteristic, they are called as a roundworm or also called as threadworm. Second characteristic, they are parasitic in nature. Okay. Third one, they are small in size, few mm to few centimeters in size. Okay, and next one, when we come to the scientific characteristic, they are basically bilateral symmetrical. So first scientific characteristic is what? They are bilaterally symmetrical. Then next characteristic is that when we consider their digestive system, okay, they are the one who show complete digestive system with mouth on one side and anus on another side. They are having mouth on one end and anus on another end. See, here there will be mouth, and here somewhere, I am not saying exactly, there will be anus. So these animals are basically having mouth and anus at two different ends, and in between they are having complete and well developed digestive system. Understanding? Clear about it? So far we have discussed four characteristics: roundworms, parasitic, its size, and even we have discussed its complete digestive system. They are with complete digestive system with mouth and anus. When the animal is having complete digestive system, which plan it show? Which body plan it show? Tube within tube body plan, correct? Tube body plan. Now one more characteristic I told you is that they are bilaterally symmetrical. Bilaterally symmetrical. Clear? Clear about all these characteristics, simple characteristics. Now next and very important characteristic. They are triploblastic. What they are? They are triploblastic. Triploblastic means, now I need not to explain all these things, correct? What do you mean by triploblastic? 3 germ layers. Again I have the same question. Which are those? Ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Now when we come to its coelom, they are pseudocoelomate. What kind of coelom they are having? Pseudocoelomate. They are pseudocoelomate. Now do you remember what do you mean by pseudocoelomate? What exactly does it mean? Pseudo means false and coelom means what? Body cavity. Body cavity. So they are having false body cavity. So when the animal is having false body cavity, they are pseudocoelomate. And Aschehelminthes, this or Nemathelminthes, means Aschehelminthes are the clear-cut example of pseudocoelomate. Understanding? Clear about it? Now, as they are pseudocoelomate, their mesoderm is not well developed. So mesoderm basically mesoderm is basically associated with muscle development. So in these animals, there is no complete muscle development. Few muscles are developed, few are not developed. Because mesoderm, few cells are there. So those few cells develop few muscles, but other muscles are not developed. So when muscles of these animals are observed, they are having these straight muscles. Okay, straight muscles they are having. So they are having these straight muscles are called as longitudinal muscles. What does they are called as? Longitudinal muscles. Longitudinal muscles they are having, but other muscles they are not having. Means other muscles like this, circular muscles, but circular muscles they don't have. Circular muscles absent. Circular muscles absent. Clear about it? Understanding? So these are the few characteristics. Remember, they are called as roundworm because they are having this round structure, also called as threadworm. Okay, they are parasitic in nature, mostly parasitic, but few of them are even free living. Then, so as they are parasitic, they are mainly disease causing in humans, in other animals, as well as they cause diseases in plants. Okay. Next characteristic is that they are triploblastic. The next characteristic is that they are pseudocoelomate. After triploblastic, what you need to remember? They are pseudocoelomate. After that, you need to remember they are bilaterally symmetrical and small sized worm, 2 to 3 millimeter, can grow into few centimeters. Now let us talk more about their outer covering. Okay. Now one more thing remains to explain about the pseudocoelomate. Now when we consider this pseudocoelomate, they are having a cavity, means a false cavity they show. So this false cavity called as pseudocele. The false cavity is called as pseudocele. They are having false cavity which is called as pseudocele. So this pseudocele is filled with fluid, water-like fluid. It is filled with water-like fluid, and this water-like fluid helps the animal for doing locomotion. It helps the animal to do locomotion, and this locomotion, this movement is called as this movement or this fluid is work as a skeleton for the movement. That's why it is called as hydraulic skeleton. Okay, remember the animals are pseudocoelomate. The pseudocoelom means as they are pseudocoelomate, they are having only few muscles developed, other muscles are not developed. Only longitudinal muscles they are having, but circular muscles are absent. Okay, the pseudocele is having some pseudocoelomate are having some cavity which is called as pseudocele, and this cavity, body cavity, is filled with water-like fluid, and that fluid help the animals to do movement which is called as hydraulic hydraulic movement. Now if you see this animal Rhabditis, you can see it is transparent animal, so you can see this pseudocele, okay, here, and it is clear. See, here it is pseudocele, and so it is filled with water and it helps the animal to crawl, to do the movement. So it is called as hydraulic skeleton. What does it call? I'll write over here. There is no place actually to write, so I'll write here hydraulic skeleton. Clear about these simple characteristics? Clear about it? Let us go ahead and learn some more characteristics. Actually, after this, I'll show a diagram of another nematode. In that, I'll show you hydraulic skeleton properly. Now, next thing you need to remember about its reproduction. Now, when we consider reproduction, most of the nematodes, most of these animals show dimorphism, show the male and female look different. Okay, they are generally unisexual, means female animal is having female gametes and male animals produce male gametes. Now females are generally longer in nematodes. Females are generally longer in size, okay, while males are little bit short. Here Ascaris, there is a clear cut difference. You can easily locate female is very large, okay, but on the other hand males are little smaller. Now there is easy to differentiate between male and female. Now whenever there is a male, the male is having its posterior end, it is its mouth, and here it is posterior, this is anterior end, this is the posterior end. The posterior end is always having this bend, okay, this circular, it bends circular. Now this is where it is having that pineal seating. What does it have? It is having that pineal seating, which is a reproductive structure. It is for copulation, for reproduction. So males with pineal setae, but if you see the posterior end of female, there is nothing, there is no bend. Understanding? Clear about it? So it is about its reproduction. So most of the characteristics we have already studied. We will gather those characteristics, but before actually gathering all the characteristics, we will study about one more important animal which is included in the nematoda. And so let us see it and let us try to understand it. Another example of nematoda is this animal called as Wuchereria. Now, Wuchereria is very dangerous parasite in human being. See, first of all, it is such a small animal. It is such a small nematode, but it is responsible for a very dangerous disease. This is that disease, and it is called elephantiasis. Okay, Wuchereria is the animal. It is included in the nematoda, and it is responsible for this disease, elephant leg disease, or generally which is called as elephantiasis. Now, one more thing I need to tell you, in this animal, suppose you see the diagram of this animal. In this animal you can see that pseudocele properly. See, its body wall is this, and this is its pseudocele. So with the help of this pseudocele, it do that movement. Understanding? Got it clear? Now next one is, this disease, elephantiasis, is so bad disease that throughout our life, throughout patient's life basically, its leg keep on growing in size. Okay, and it only not only leg, actually other reproductive organs also grow in size, and which is uncurable disease. Once it occurs, there is no cure for the disease. But remember, there are there are vaccination for the disease. Whenever there is an epidemic of disease, means some people started suffering in the area, that is called as epidemic. So when this disease is epidemic, that time all the people in that area are given with the vaccine of this Wuchereria. And remember, this disease is very common in India. So nematoda is not kind of good animals. They are basically parasitic and responsible for the disease. Now only one characteristic it remains to discuss in these animals. Now see, this animal is having very tough outer covering. Outer covering of the animal is called as cuticle. What does outer covering of animal called as? Cuticle. And this cuticle of any animal, any nematode, whether it is Ascaris, whether it is Rhabditis, whether it is Wuchereria, in everyone the covering cuticle is very tough. As the cuticle is tough, it survive in our inside our body, our immune system. It is very difficult for our immune system to kill that animal. Understanding? So this is all about the Platyhelminthes. Let us gather all the characteristics together. Now, first characteristic is thread-like worm. Then they are also called as roundworm. They are always parasitic, bilaterally symmetrical, organ system organization, triploblastic. They show pseudocoelomate, and a fluid which is present in the pseudocoelom is work as a hydraulic skeleton. Now tube within tube body plan. Body wall, which is called as cuticle, is very tough, and circular muscles are absent. Remember, longitudinal muscles are present and circular muscles are absent. Remember this. Okay. Now next characteristic is its digestive system. It is having complete digestive system with mouth and anus. Excretion, amniotic excretion, and nervous system. It is also having ladder type of nervous system, just like previously we have studied in Platyhelminthes. The next one is, important thing is about its reproduction, unisexual with sexual dimorphism. Okay, males are generally smaller, females are larger. And after fertilization, this is very important. When the fertilization takes place, the eggs are enclosed in very hard covering. Okay, because eggs are generally deposited either in water or either in soil. Okay, so it needs to be very tough, and it should stay in the environment for the longer duration. So this stay in the environment, and when they get entry inside our body, they start developing the symptoms as we have studied in Wuchereria, okay, or elephantiasis. Clear about it? So clear about nematode characteristic. So this is all about phylum Nemathelminthes. So in the next video we will meet with next phylum. Till then, goodbye, take care.